artist and record deals, where do they stand today as far as your understanding in Nashville that you're seeing? Because you work with lots of different artists and have probably been offered these deals or been part of these deals. So
Yeah, I mean, and maybe just a little bit of context of how I'm speaking into this. So I've done all sorts of deals in music. I've spent a lot of money on entertainment attorneys because of the variety and different types of deals that I've done and continue to do. So just for context, I've done an exclusive worldwide publishing deal. I've done an admin deal. I've done multiple distribution deals. I've done multiple sync deals. I've done multiple major label producer agreements and independent artist producer agreements. So I've lived it, seen it, breathed it. Like I know the game. I think a broader way to answer the question would be define good deal. And as somebody who is, kind of OCD and anal and reads every word of a contract and honestly kind of likes to negotiate and in another life would have enjoyed being an entertainment attorney. Even as somebody through that lens, I think something to keep in mind is a good deal can look a lot of different ways to a lot of different people based on your scenario, your phase of life, your season. Yeah. And so sometimes like what might actually like objectively be kind of a crappy deal could be a good deal for you for a time. If like what I think of as an example of that is like sometimes if it's something that can get you in the game you're trying to get into and you have nothing going on, let's say, like even if the terms are crappy for a phase, sometimes it's worth like entering into that agreement, knowing what you're entering into, like not being negligent about it, but knowing what you're signing, knowing what you're agreeing to, if it can help get you from here to here. And that doesn't mean it's a forever thing. But I don't know. Sometimes good deals aren't always that black and white because we're all in different phases, all have different, needs, wants, whatever. But as far as record deals go, and as somebody that's produced for artists on record deals, I think it is the best time in the history of the world to be an independent artist, meaning an artist not signed to a record label. And I have two main reasons why. Number one is distribution. What did distribution used to mean? Back in the day, it used to mean physically going and printing a product and physically shipping it out worldwide to Walmart and Circuit City and Best Buy and all those places.
And you couldn't just do that on your own.
No, what did you need? What did you need to get those purchase orders and front the money for that? You needed a bank, otherwise known as a record label. The other thing was promotion back in the day, pre-internet, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We can just get on here and create our own audiences. You needed traditional forms of promotion, traditionally historically known as radio promotion, and if you don't know, promoting your song on radio, even with the perceptionally the impact of radio diminishing worldwide, it is ungodly expensive to get your song played on the radio.
Where is it now? So about $4,000 still?
It depends on the format. Like Christian radio is going to be cheaper than country radio. That's going to be different than rap. It's going to be different than pop. I mean, you can be several hundred. Like I think country radio is a 6-figure investment to get your song on the radio. I think pop radio is probably a 7-figure investment. Don't fully quote me on that, but like. So if you're trying to go play those traditional games of traditional distribution and traditional promotion, you had to have those big entities, the majors with the wallets and the relationships to get your music in those channels. But what does distribution and promotion mean today in 2025? Well, distribution means that you can go upload your song on DistroKid or CD Baby or wherever it is, and you can get your music on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, all the same places the major labels can get their music on. And promotion, I don't listen to the radio. I don't know if you listen to music on the radio. Most people I know don't listen to music on the radio. They find artists on social media, on Spotify algorithm. There's all these things we can do in the age of the internet to promote our music, without.
I will say this. I taught average age 25 years old to my 10 to 20 person classes for the past 2 years at a recording school before recently, and we had a thing on radio we had to talk about at some point, and I would ask all of them how many people listen to the radio in this day and age, and I have to tell you at least half of them raised their hands, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's still a thing. But if you look at the cost, if you look at like how much money you have to front to break through on that, like when it works, it can be slam dunk home run, like one in a
Sure.
billion.
Sure.
But like that's not the only way anymore. In fact,
Yeah,
there's
I would think
thousands of other ways.
I would think meta ads would be a better deal for most artists anyway.
There's limitless. So I'd say all that to say, when you enter a record deal, you are handing off ownership of your masters, your sound recording to that record label. And Spotify and Apple and these places, it's all a little different, but on average pays about $3,000 to $4,000 per million streams to the master sound recording owner. They pay significantly less to the songwriters and music publishers. That's a separate discussion. But record labels love streaming. They may not come out and say it, but record labels would say streaming saved the record and record deal industry because it pays so much more than it pays songwriters.
But
so
let's talk about the deal though itself.
Yeah.
What is the 360 deal pretty much the standard deal these days with record deals?
To my knowledge, no. I think the 360 deal has gone away a little bit. In fact, it's not necessarily, all of this can be different, but I think these record deals are more and more, it's like not album cycles, it'll be number of singles. So like maybe we're going to get you, and a traditional deal, just so you know, you have 100% of the master. You're typically assigning that master over to the record label. They're going to front the money for, control it 100%, and then they're going to give you, artist, a royalty. Typically, that's like 16 to 20% of the pie. So generous, I know. And then, hey, because we're also so generous, and I have lots of friends at labels, love you guys if you're watching, but we're also so
today
generous
is not going to be necessarily one that helps all our relationships, and then because we're going to be kind of talking about things that are like,
no, but I can I've had this conversation with friends at labels of like, I've asked some of my A&R friends, like, why should this artist sign to you? They have this thing going on themselves. Like, they don't necessarily need you.
Yeah.
And labels are less and less in the development business now. They want to jump onto a ship that's already moving. So if your goal is to get signed by a record label, what I would tell you is go do the same things I would tell somebody if their goal is to be the biggest independent artist in the world. Go create your own buzz and momentum anyways. But so in the traditional record deal, you're given 100% of the master to the record label. They're giving you a 16 to 20% royalty, and then you have to take your royalty and give some of that to the producer. So, on average, traditionally, in the kind of traditional system, you as the artist, after you go recoup the money, so you don't get a dollar beforehand. So if a label fronts you $100K, let's say, for cost, marketing, promotion, whatever, the first $100,000 you make back, you don't get any of. $100,000 in one, you're getting like 15% of the pie. I don't know. You asked me, is that a good deal? Yeah. Or there's more and more 50-50 deals starting to show up because I think labels are seeing that artists aren't needing the labels like they used to.
Well, and there's things like production deals, publicity deals, promotional deals, booking deals. There are all sorts of like probably different deals depending on how much the artist does themselves and needs. They're almost like not a bank as much as they are become a service company, just like I've been always in my career. They're like, we can provide you these services.
100. And where I would say record deals are still a good thing is like, I think of country music, or I think of like top 40 pop music. If your goal is to step into one of those arenas that's like hyper competitive, hyper huge market, where it's like, here's the path. Like, you want to be an A-list country artist, you just go do this thing down country radio, and it kind of looks one way for everyone. We have these relationships, we have these formulas, and you can be one of the 1% biggest artists in the world. Labels are great for that, I think. But if you want to go create a good lifestyle, making, I've numerous friends who are independent artists making multiple six figures a year from streaming alone, fully independent, or maybe independent with a premium distributor taking like 10 to 20% to help get them on playlists. Why would they or should they sign a record deal? So it's just all about what you want. So kind of putting it all together, like, it's all about your phase of life. Maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, but I think it's super advantageous to be an independent artist now because there's less barrier for entry and because the master pays on streaming.
And because you can do that to further a sync career, as we'll talk about here in a minute.
100.